Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into another video. I am so glad that you keep coming back to listen to these messages. I appreciate all of you for that, and I'm hoping that the messages are resonating with you and that you're sharing your newly found wisdom with people who may need a new vision. So, are you in a space where you found yourself unraveling? I know that life is lifing and things are happening in our worlds around us, and it can become excruciating for us. It's painful, it's frustrating, and sometimes we just unravel at the weight of all the things that we're carrying. And if you're in that space right now, then this message is for you. And so when you think about your journey through life, there are moments, people call them rock bottom, people call them like their awakening moment or whatever it is. But there are moments where you just feel like you're falling apart. And if you're there today, I would encourage you to keep going because there is something on the other side of this. And so when I think about the space in my life where that happened, it was a time where, and I've told this story so many times, but this story is such an impactful one. I had um, figured out that the relationship that I was in was not serving me. I knew that I wasn't making enough money to be able to really go into the world and take care of my kids by myself. And I was stuck, and I felt like the space that I was in was toxic for me, and I was unraveling, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know who I was, and I didn't have a way to get out of it. I didn't have a place to turn. I didn't have a way to get out of it. And I realize now, looking back, that it was a pruning process. It was God taking me through a journey to be able to make me realize and believe in who I was, but also realize and believe in who He was. And so I just want to encourage you today to realize that it is time to put yourself back together. And when you put yourself back together, you're going to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. The unraveling is not an end game. It is a part of the process, and it's an essential one, because what's happening is that you've been trying to hold it together with this expired glue for so long, and that version is an outdated version of you. So, in order for you to recognize that you're no longer capable of navigating life in the space that you're in, you have to fall apart. And so, when you're falling apart, it's an indication, it's data for you to know that I am no longer the person that I was when I made the choice that I made to be in this space. And so, therefore, everything has to fall apart so that I can get rid of all of the conditioning, things that I learned, things that I've been holding on to that are keeping me here, so that I can go to the next place that I'm supposed to be in. You know that these things are true. I know that if you're in this space of unraveling, you've come to a place where you're at a realization that the things that you've always done and the spaces that you've always been in are not you and are not for you. And that is your time. That is your wake up moment where you can say, okay, what is no longer working for me? What is no longer giving me what I need? And what are the things that I can get rid of, let go of, so that I can move to the next place? And if you're in a space where you're holding on to those things, you are literally putting stuff that's junk in the spaces that your growth is trying to inhabit. So you have this fear that what you've always been doing has served you thus far, right? Like I I'm productive at work. I'm a good parent. Like I might not be doing this relationship thing right, but these things are serving me, and they've served you in a capacity, but they're not going to serve you in your next. And so the reason that you're unraveling is so that you can let go of those things so that you can have what's going to serve you in your next. Purging leads to holes. It's going to leave holes. It's going to leave friendship spaces that are now open because you had to get rid of those people in your life. It's going to leave relational spaces that are open because you had to get rid of those people. It's going to leave job opportunities or career spaces open because you had to get rid of those things in your life because they weren't serving the new version of you. They were just serving the old version of you. And you're unraveling and you're pruning yourself and you're promoting yourself by purging those things out of your life so that there's opportunity and space for more. I told you before that what I learned first about abundance was that the first step of having abundance is letting go of all of the things that no longer serve you so that you can empty the spaces that you're trying to fill up with this abundant life. You can't do that if in your unraveling, you're trying to just put everything back together. It's like, when people are knitting, if the top part is unraveling while you're knitting the bottom, you never get anywhere because it's unraveling just as quickly as you're knitting it back together. But if you allow the spaces to unravel so you can go back and knit it together in the way that it's supposed to be, so that it can form into what it's supposed to form into, those holes will serve you. So when you purge, when you get rid of all of the things that are no longer supposed to be a part of your life, what you're actually doing is moving things out that aren't for you and putting things in those spaces that will serve you to go into your next. But you can't just compact those spaces because the things that aren't serving you are going to be underneath it there. And the things that are serving you aren't going to be able to do what they would do because they don't have enough space to do it in. So I would just encourage you today to take the knowledge that you've gained, even if you're only just intellectualizing right now, take the knowledge that you've gained and figure out your next first step. What do I need to purge? What do I need to get rid of? This one first thing that I need to get rid of so that I can fill it with something that's going to take me into the space that I want to go into. And that's the thing you're going to focus on. Eventually, you'll start to be able to say, okay, that one's done. Now I'm going to go to this one. That one's done. Now I'm going to go to this one. And maybe you're just one of those people who needs to do it cold turkey and all at one time. I've found that doesn't work for me, but I'm not saying that my journey is the same as everyone else's. Whatever it looks like for you, if you are currently in a space where it feels like you're at rock bottom, it feels like even though some things are going right, you're internally unraveling, I would just encourage you to look at what it is that your new version of you is trying to let go of so they can get to the promoted space that they dream of being in. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. Remember, look me up on all social media sites, send me that DM so that we can connect. And as I always say, if you gain this new wisdom and you keep it to yourself, it's really not serving the people around you. So if we want to help everyone get out of bondage, the best way to do that is to share the wisdom that you have, share the process while you're going through it, share your mistakes while you're going through them so that we can help everyone get out of the bondage that they're in. I appreciate you guys and I'll see you again next week.